All right, all right, all right. What is up, everybody? It is your boy Sekou. We are doing some amazing things, and we get to have so much fun with the great Kelly Hall. Uh, she's hearkening me back to the days where I spent every summer in Saratoga Springs, and she's an upstate New Yorker. What up? What up? What up?
Hey,
What up?
hey.
How are you, Cal?
We
How
got to
you
get you
doing?
back to Saratoga. I'm excited to have you on my search portal now for Saratoga Springs.
25 Franklin Street. Let's go, y'all. 25
25
Franklin Street,
Franklin Street. It
Saratoga Springs, New York.
happens.
I
It
hear
really
that. Listen,
happens.
I got a buddy of mine, Dave DeVoe, who the part of his story is he had to sell like his like beloved guitar. It's like this like famous electric guitar that he had. He spent thousands of dollars on it and spent thousands of hours playing on it. And times got rough, right? And it was like my family or this guitar, right? And so he sold
Wow.
the guitar and he put that guitar on his vision board and he manifested it every single day and found it on eBay the day he talked about it out loud with us.
Oh my
He found
gosh,
it on eBay.
that is awesome. That reminds me of Sylvester Stallone's dog.
Yes.
You know that story where he had a bull mastiff, and he was just trying to make it as an actor, and like he needed cash to live. And then he ended up buying his dog back, and he was in the movie. I think he was in the first Rocky movie,
the first
right?
Rocky movie. Oh my goodness, man!
Well,
The
listen,
power.
yeah, Saratoga Springs. I had just had an investor that we just put back. He first time home investor, a multifamily investor, lives in Connecticut and bought a home in Syracuse. And he, on the way to closing, his mom said, "What's the address of the place?" And he said, he shared the address, and she goes, "Oh, honey, we lived on the second floor of that home." And we all just were like full body goosebumps, full, just like it completely
Brain
awestruck.
explosion.
You can't make it up when it's meant to be, and these things align. So that's what's going to happen in Saratoga.
And he did not know what the manifestation intention was.
No.
Like he didn't even know it.
He
And
didn't
it
even
was
know, but it's a beautiful like full circle legacy that like he had a single mom, and he now is going to be able, the house, the multifamily, it was 3 floors and it had a single family in the back, which is very, very unique. So it's 4 units in total. So she's going to be living eventually in that back home. And it's just, you can't make it up. And I just love these hugs. They're just hugs.
they're just big old fat round hugs. You are by far this month probably the most energetic person that I've met and talked to. You have a very powerful story. It's not unique in its origin, right? Because you were corporate, and then you went from corporate to entrepreneurship and this. Tell your story really quickly, whatever you feel comfortable telling, because it sounds better coming from you. I can just sing accolades.
No, I appreciate that, and I got to tell you, I first of all, I thank you for acknowledging the energy, because it's been a very, up here in New York, it's very cold, and we have to really manifest that energy to keep it going and flowing. So I'll do bullet points because it's a very long story about my career transition and morphed into real estate, which is now just life.
Right.
So I went to school. I went to the College of St. Rose in Albany, and I went, had no idea what I wanted to do. But I said, okay, my second year or third year, and I said, I got to claim a major, public communications. I can write, I can talk. I was in the radio shows, the TV shows. I loved all of it. And then when I graduated, I did an internship at Fox News. I graduated. They hired me as an assignment desk editor, and it was a fantastic experience.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'd ever want to be a newscaster on the news, because I got really tired of, if there's nothing going on in town, but it's a daily show, you're like,
you
gotta send the fireman up the tree again to get the cat and have a rescue story. And my job was literally to like assign the cameraman with his camera and the truck he was going to take to get out and get this. And we were watching the news feeds. I said, this can't be my life. I can't do this. And so the director had an in at NBC. So there's an NBC page position where the people are they just give tours of the studio. So, and Saturday Night Live, I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live so badly. So I'm like, let me just find a way in. How do I get in? And so he hooked it up with an interview, and I thought I had it. I moved to New York City from Syracuse with no job yet.
That's the best way to do it.
That's it. You just have to leap and the net will appear.
Right.
Many nets did.
Ooh, so, leap and the net. Write that down. If y'all are out there listening, write that down. Leap and the net will appear. Let's go.
And it will. It's so scary, but trust it. It will be your nets. We can be your nets in some ways. And so I went there and moved with my best friend who was getting into fashion. So she went to FIT. I was like, this is great. I'm going to be an actress. You're going to be in fashion. This is like amazing. And I got a letter saying that I did not get the job. They hired 2 out of 1,000 people that applied. And I said, oh, rats. What am I going to do?
If I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose to SNL, alums and things like that, so.
And I was like, and I said, that's okay. I'll figure it out. And I had to, quickly go get some dough so that I could stay in New York. Because I knew that's where I wanted to be. I knew that was the town and place. In your early 20s, you got to be really young or really rich to be in New York. When you're in the middle, it's really hard.
It sucks.
So I hit the really young, in your 20s. It wasn't until I was 30 that I bebopped back here. But so, yeah, I set out to be an actress. I bartended. I did some off Broadway, I did some stand-up comedy. And then I got a gig at the New York State Society of CPAs working as some marketing coordinator. That was also very boring. Went to a happy hour and complained about the job. And then somebody had said, who's working at Martha Stewart Living, well, I'm actually going back to nursing school. Would you like my job? And she was the SVP, the assistant to the SVP, the senior vice publisher. And it was during the time when Martha was getting incarcerated. So it was a far more interesting time and place.
I would suspect.
So I said,
you also wore your fireman cap at the same time, right? Let's put out this fire.
Anyway, what am I gonna do? What I need to be? But I'm at that point. It was like I just knew it was going to be more fun, and I had more peers. I had no idea what to expect, other than she goes, "Well, can you handle a tough woman?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I got it. Come on,
no problem."
And so I got the job. Long story short, she did make me cry multiple times, but at the end of her tenure, we had a really awesome relationship. And she had said, you're the only person I trust in this company, and got me flowers. And we had a nice thing towards the end. And then she put me in the marketing department. So that's really where my career in publishing started.
So wait a minute. Did they make The Devil Wears Prada after you?
Somebody bought me the book, and I couldn't even read the book because I'm like, this is my life. I can't come home after this day and relive it as Andy.
Holy crap. I'm not admitting at all that I saw the movie at all. I'm not admitting.
You know the part where she went in and tried on all the clothes and had to write the books or get those books for her twins. No, but I had to get this woman. She's a wonderful woman under high stress. She was in a very high stress position, but I had to make sure her cottage cheese was open. The TV was on. I had to make sure that, oh my gosh, the phone calls, if I didn't answer properly in the right way, paper clips had to be at a certain spot. So I still have PTSD even in my current house.
I'm sure.
And I so appreciate our environment and our organizations are it doesn't need to be perfect, just get it out and get it done. I really love that.
Yeah, my coaching, one of the tenets of my coaching is make a mess and clean it up to progress.
That's it.
Right?
I love that.
Let's just do it. Let's dump the Legos out before we start building, right?
That's it. It's kind of like when we have a free climbing rock gym down the street over here, and it's there's 2 kinds of people. One that looks up and strategizes their every step, and there's ones that just hit the wall and just go, and you figure out how to get there along the way. So
I guess you know who I would be, right?
I know, the same. It's a lot of fun if you guys haven't been. So fast forward through all that, it was a fantastic, my publishing lasted 10 years in New York. I was Martha Stewart Living. I worked at USA Today, Brides Magazine, Travel and Leisure, the American Express publications. And it was a blast until
you're not that smart.
No,
that's what you're telling us. You're not that smart, right? You don't know how to do anything.
Listen,
just playing with you.
There are people. We got smarter, faster, more creative around, and that's what we got to do. You got to be in the room with these people. So I just got tired, and I think it was also being tired of living in New York City, carrying my dog food on my shoulder, walking 5 blocks home, and it got tiring. And so when I moved back home, I actually subletted my place, thinking I was going to move back on the Upper West Side, an awesome duplex with like a big back patio. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to lose this on 80th between Amsterdam and Columbus. If you New Yorkers are out there, I white knuckled that place.
I already know.
I was like, I'm not going to lose it. So I subletted it, moved in with my parents. And then at one point there was a septic flood in the basement of the duplex coming from the building next door. And I knew that was a sign that I had to let that place go, come back home and really like figure out what I was doing. Cause the market for publishing and advertising and for all that in Syracuse doesn't exist. So I worked for an ad agency. I started my marketing consulting with clients, doing websites and copywriting. I still do that for clients and a lot of realtors. But I was like, there's gotta be more. If I'm gonna like stick a stake in the ground, and my entire family is now here. My brother moved back with his family. And I had a friend ask me, or she said, I think you'd be a fantastic realtor. And I said, it's like, you got to ask at the right time. You got to mention it to somebody at that right time in their moment in this like season of life where I would say bartenders are a good target.
Mm-hmm. Bartenders and what do they call them? Baristas at Starbucks.
Oh yes.
Oh my God. The best realtor I've ever met in my life. There's 2 teachers. So it's 3 teachers, bartenders, and baristas, right? The best realtor I ever met in my life was a barista. And the second best, and I don't mean this in terms of service or anything like that, just sheer volume of deals is an ex-teacher.
Oh, that's awesome. That makes sense though, because you need to have that strategy in the order. So you can be all chaos, throw the Legos, but you got to be able to put them all together and keep the train on track to close like teachers can. That makes total sense.
Said it. Yeah. She said it. I'm putting it up.
So guys, now we know.
Said it. Throw the Legos, baby.
Throw the Legos and then figure it out. Build your empire.
So let's talk. Let's talk about you as a realtor. Let's talk about, your journey a little bit. There's something that I really want. One of the things that I want to make sure that I point out is that you are the one of the founding members of a great foundation. So I'm sort of teasing that, right? Look, that's how you say it in marketing. You're teasing that.
You tease
right?
it. Yeah.
So I sort of tease that, and I want to make sure that we spend more time on that than anything else. But I want to sort of focus on your vision. So somebody says to you, "I think you'll make a great realtor." You go take your test. Was it difficult?
It was. I passed it. I know that it's like 50% pass and 50% don't.
Yeah.
So I hit it hard though. I was like, I was making a career change, so I wasn't going to take it lightly.
Right. Okay. And then so you become this realtor, and it's been so easy for you since the beginning, right? Is that what you're going to tell me?
Well, it was 2 months before the pandemic, and so it was like to some people, I don't know if it was something. It was something.
It was something.
Busy, and I think any agent that began at that time, there was a little bit of an advantage because everybody was starting from ground zero, meaning like I was not scared I was going to sound like an idiot. I was not scared I was going to sound like somebody that didn't know what they were talking about, because I would get on the phone with listing agents to go show their homes, and they're all like, I don't know what to do. And so I'm like, this is what we got to do. Just mask up. This is what I'll do. And you have to really live the common sense and the street smarts, the New York like street smarts just kicked in to high gear. I'm talking like I dialed it way up. And I was on a team, but she couldn't even lead me. So I was, by the grace of God, it really was like entering that career and being able to support myself during that time and bringing people hope. My tagline is from hope to home.
From hope to home. Okay.
From hope to home. And so everyone had to be really hopeful that we were going to get it done and negotiate the multiple offer situations. And I had families. It was a time. And I'm
I'm going to pause you for a second because you said something that I think the folks that are watching need to write down, right? So, and I don't know if you even paid attention to when you said it, right? But you weren't afraid of being wrong,
Oh no.
right?
Yeah.
You know, like you weren't afraid of not knowing. You weren't afraid of having to ask the question. How the hell did you do that? Like you know, still show up
Yeah.
with your authentic self,
Yeah.
and in that authenticity, be like, I don't know. How did you do that?
Well, there's ways to craft questions so it's kind of like you make the other person feel like you're collaborating. It's collaborative,
Mm,
if that makes sense.
that does make
What would
sense.
you do in this situation? I'm coming in and you know, instead of like being in a place of desperation to try to get the answer, I would come at it with like let's figure this out together. Like, have you ever had this experience, or what would you do in the situation? Or yeah, let's talk about it and just get a dialogue going so that,
I
you
hope
know,
I
as
spelled this correctly,
would you
because
do?
that's now a part of the tenets of our coaching. Create collaboration through questions.
With questions, because
That is
it invites versus like pigeonholes. You
right.
know, I think there's so many people that still are very fearful of asking and looking or making thinking you're going to sound like an idiot. Listen, we are literally all figuring out this life, right? We're all
Mhm.
navigating something, and if you can do it with somebody that can like really be a good partner in it, um, and no question is dumb, and you develop rapport with that too. So I feel like it's really important for us on the listing side or buy side, your partners, to really have that rapport and go,
Mm,
listen, if you have a dumb, it almost invites them to like, if give them grace to ask a question that maybe they aren't sure about or feel more comfortable doing it, because I think the misconception is we've got to know everything.
yeah, and that's
No.
crazy. So
Yeah, it'll make you sick.
so the you've I think I paid you to do this, right? Because you struck on another one of our tenets in coaching. So we have a saying at Commitment to Capping. It's better to be a know nothing agent, right? And the
Yeah,
less you know, the more you sell,
that's it.
right? And that just leads down to the line of questions. But what I want to really point out is that it's often the fear of sounding like you don't know. It is not actually
Yeah,
knowing or not knowing. It is
yeah,
just this idea that somehow or another you're supposed to have all the answers.
right.
I love that
Oh
that
no.
you go down that route. You strike me as somebody who is very easy to talk to. You strike me as somebody that if we were in a coffee shop and I needed some help, even if you didn't work there, you'd be trying to figure out how to
Yeah.
help me.
Yeah. Hit me. That is
Yeah.
that is me. I get it
So,
from my mama.
and speaking of your mama, I want to go down a pleasantly unpleasant route with you, right? And so we go through the pandemic. You are a real estate agent. You're doing your deals. You put your stake in the ground. That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what just happened. WhatsApp just took over my screen. Am I all
And I
right?
became a
Okay,
top
I'm good.
producer at that time, just to close that story.
And
I
you
was the
became a
rookie of
top
the year
producer.
that year, and I'll tie in when you share this part of the story. I'll tie in a special piece of that award.
Well, here's what I want to say, right? So everyone is always looking for that work-life balance, and everyone is trying to figure out how they start a great business and how they do as many deals as possible. You were dealing with another type of journey at the exact same time. So whatever you feel comfortable sharing, you share,
Oh
and
yeah.
and then we'll go from there.
Oh yeah. So I know this is actually fairly new to share and to talk about it, but I know that I'm going to need to a lot more. So I want to thank you for inviting me here to do that and being touched by it. And, you know, there's more goodness to come. So when the whole blessing of moving home was completely orchestrated, right? So I didn't want to come
Mhm.
back, but there was somebody else who knew that I needed to be home and living with my mom and dad at that time. And when I became a real estate agent, it was end of 2019. My biggest cheerleader, my biggest supporter,
Mhm.
got me to this finish line of seeing this career transformation, something that she really understood because her father was a home builder in Central New York. She was born and raised in Connecticut for a few years and then moved back here. My grandfather started his home building company when he was 50.
Mm.
And so, and of course, mom being mom and being at home with us and home is just such a sacred place. And so that connection with me having this job, she finally understood what I did. She never knew what I was doing in New York. Like really, she tried to, get there, but I'm like, I'm marketing, I'm doing copywriting. I'm like, digital ads, whatever. When I came home, it was, okay, now I know this is it. And so she was my biggest supporter, and she still is. And so when I became an agent and I had these deals, it wasn't until 2000 and it happened so quickly. So she was diagnosed with lymphoma in 2020, at the end of 2020. And during that time, I still was, like you said, I had to work these deals. I had to work, and I was working. And I really didn't want fear to grab hold, right? So I was also very careful and cautious about who I shared with, that was our journey. And I just stuck my head down to the ground, and I said, the things I can control right now are my job, my clients, my mom's journey, what the doctors are telling her, and that's all I need. And that's all I want. Like, I want to stay so siloed in like the facts, know how to pray, and just get on my knees and pray. And that's really all I was doing. Like, I was working and praying and trying to support my mom. And also, let's talk about being during COVID, where we couldn't be in the hospitals. I couldn't go inside the house. My mom is the best hugger, and I couldn't hug my mother during this time. We snuck a few in. We definitely did. She'd be like, Kelly, I'm coming in for it. And like,
if we're going to break the ruls, that's what we should break the rules for.
And I think we had our masks on too, but like, I'll tell you, it was, thinking about that time, it just still feels very surreal, all of that. And so she had a courageous, mighty, faithful journey, and she hit remission in June. So she did it. We're going to all say that will never change. She did it. She hit victory. She did it. We saw it. It was a gift to her, and it was a gift to us and all that loved her. And she was ready to get her stem cell transplant. And just a few days before that was scheduled was when it came back. There was a resurgence, and God said, it's time to come home here. This is where I'm going to really cure you. This is where you're going to be truly healed. And that is what we were praying for. My goodness, I miss her so much.
I'm sure you do. You mentioned her. She's it is apparent how good of a job she did with you. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm going through a journey with mine as well, my mom as well, and we connected over this, and
yes,
and you know where I'm at right now, right?
Yes,
I'm sitting right
and
next
I'm
to
so
her.
inspired by you, really.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm telling you now, you shared some things with me that I feel is necessary to share with the rest of the world. Let's talk about your vision for Hugs for Hope. Let's talk about that vision.
So, and vision for Hugs for Hope, and actually, just because this is sitting here, this is what I'll show you.
Oh, I'm gonna. That's mom right there. I'm gonna put this on the screen if you don't mind.
Yeah, this is mom and me at one of our Bethany Beach vacations.
Bethany so I think Beach. Let's go upstate New York.
Upstate New York. See, so here's so when she was in remission, I had gone over after one of her treatments, her final treatment, and we had a conversation. And Siku was so convicted this was happening to her for a reason. And she said, I've got to do something. She was so blessed by people giving her cards, packages, meals. Like, she's one of those that is the giver. So when you're finally receiving, it kind of blows you away and you realize how good it feels. And so on this journey, a gift for us and for her was to finally be able to see her receive like with no expectations of doing anything. And she got so filled up, her cup was so filled up that she was like, I want to bless people on this journey. I want people to feel what I'm feeling. And me being like the multi-passion entrepreneur, I was like, Mom, we can do this. We can get baskets. We can do all these things. And it just made her so tired. And then we had a different conversation. She's like, I can't keep up with you, Cal. I just can't like keep up with your thoughts and whatever. And so and we both had this feeling like whatever you're going, we did not think that heaven was going to be the result, but we knew it was happening for a reason. And she would, that mothers could like that conviction the mom said, like, you don't know, but they know.
They know.
And like, you can't, there's nothing you could say or do, right? So what we did, and it was about mom went home. I say she graduated. She graduated from this world on July 24th, and I had gathered the family around, and I said, I've got an idea. This is really Mom's idea. I want us to see if you guys want to be part of it. I was going to do it regardless, but I really wanted my family to be part of it, which is, a journey in itself, but we're all doing it. And so we established as a 501c3 on October 11th. And what we are doing, we've got an entire gift box. It's a hug. We call them a hug. So the box, it's a big yellow, cheery yellow box that has a cancer nutrition cookbook. We hand knit scarves. And for the fellas, we have beanies that say hope on it. We have teas. We have unscented lip glosses. I hand pour unscented candles so people can set their intentions on this journey. And everything is completely free. It's completely free to people who want to, send a hug, or if they want to receive one, if you're on this journey. And that's my family.
That's the family. And you. Right. Yeah. I'm sure that like this was an easy shot to take, right? Like,
yeah,
oh
it
man.
It was well, I don't know. This whole photo shoot, I was crying. I mean, there's a lot of like that picture, you can probably see him crying. My dad
I can imagine. I can imagine.
And so we've actually had the goal. We set a goal to hug 100 people this year, and I think we got to about 80. And we really are just, again, like I have to
and
run
that's in
this
2022. You
2022.
set the goal, right? So what is your goal for 2023?
So we'll probably, that's a great question. We've got to meet next week with my crew, the board. We're going to set some goals. And I think right now, because we're putting the boxes together ourselves. We've got a room in my parents' house dedicated to the hugs. So we're looking to just double. But I think more than anything is just to let people know that we're here and having exposure opportunities. So I'm also looking to really develop new partnerships. A tier of this later on is going to have, and it's going to tie into the real estate side, is to have a hope home where it'll be a vacation rental, but people that are on the journey will be able to gift them stays with their family as they're able. And then if families experience a journey like ours, I want to gift them with a weekend stay so they can grieve and take time to reset and take a breath by like the water. I'm sure it'll be a lake up here somewhere. And then I've actually had some people.
To coach you?
Yes,
permission to coach you right now?
Permission granted.
So it sounds to me like you have an outrageously attainable goal, and the real estate goal is to create 100 hope homes. What did you call it?
Oh, the hugs packages.
No. I'm talking about the homes that you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. My goal for how many homes? Well, here's the thing. I want to own one, but I also have people that have partnered, that have raised their hand, that are hosts that they have, and they said, I will donate a weekend. So I'm actually putting together a list of places all around like the nation to people that would be open to doing that for a weekend for a family.
So here's your coach.
Okay, coach.
If it's 100 homes, that's just 2 per state. So we just need to find 2 per state. And so we are at an organization that is not only nationwide, but I mean, worldwide. And I think that if we what you don't know is that you now have a partner in Sekou, and Sekou does not lose. I am a tenacious warrior. And so I am going to, if for lack of a better term, weaponize the hugs and all of the aspects of the hugs. And so what I can do is I can help you find agents who are actively pursuing these donated weekends from hosts.
That's
And if you
awesome.
want to become a host so that you can do this, there's homes all over the place, that you can pick up, purchase, make a profit on, and donate.
That's it.
So I have a goal to help this young woman and her family to not only hit their goal but to surpass it. And y'all already know how I am. I don't lose. And so I'm not going to stop asking, and I'm not going to stop knocking, and I don't know what I don't know, so I'll be knocking on that door. And I
Oh
think
man, we are
earlier
so grateful. We're so
Kelly
grateful.
said
Well,
she
I
don't let
just
the
gotta
fear
say,
grab hold.
don't let the fear grab hold. Oh, that's it. No, you know what it is? It's the hugs, the boxes themselves. It's easy to get those out, and it's a beautiful way to give the hugs that my mom was deprived of, but also like to continue her legacy of hugging. Um, and it feels good. It's so small, but I know it feels good. I know it's not the cure for cancer. I know
but
that
it's
it's
but
not.
it's but it's kick ass. Let me just tell you that. Right? I'm a little bit more crass and vulgar than you
You
are,
can say kick
and
ass.
and so I'm telling you now
Well,
that
I'm grateful for the kick ass compliment.
let's go. So here's the danger in the world, right? The danger in the world is that people have these great ideas, they think about doing these things, and then they never take action on it,
Yeah.
right? And here, what I've discovered in you is a person that is taking action and putting the plan right after the action, right? Like, let's take some action, let's revise. I think I paid you for this one too. One of the other tenets that we do at Commitment to Capping is we do action, audit, adjust, right? And
Oh
there's a
yeah.
lot of people that spend their time adjusting before they take action. And I salute you. I take my hat off to you, and
Oh,
and I'm
well, I
very proud.
appreciate that. I'll tell you that it was either going to be this or I'd be on the couch under a blanket. And I know that that's not what, my mom, it was either because there's, when you're on this deep grief, when you're on any kind of a journey, but like something where like when you don't know what to do with yourself, but you know that you have a platform where I'm here, right? If I woke up today, have something to do that's going to further good. And so this was not only a vessel for her hugs for people that need a hug, it's hugging me in exchange, and in return my family is feeling anytime that we hear like something like you say it's a kick-ass idea, like
Yes.
that's a hug, because it's allowing us to continue to feel her, um, and to raise awareness. Yeah, I think around health too. Like I know that there's certain doctors aren't sharing a whole heck of a lot with us. There are things that we can control. I think a whole other element of this too is the wellness aspect and health
Mhm.
and diet and taking good care of ourselves, because there are things that do manifest. And I know that it's going to be a tier later, but right now the energy, the amount of time I have energy right now is become developing hugs for hope, and to try to get as many hugs out as we can. So if there are people on here that you yourself are on a journey, or if you know somebody that is, feel free. Who's gonna, I think, put the website on there. It's very easy to send or receive a hug, and we're just gonna keep doing our part here.
The mission at Commitment to Capping is to help as many families as possible to realize the dream of home ownership. The elevated mission at Commitment to Capping is going to be to help as many families realize the dream of home ownership so that they can share a hug with the rest of the world. I'm going to tell
Oh,
you right now, Kelly, you are helping us to elevate. You're helping us to graduate. You've offered a hug to my mom, which for
oh,
me is, I don't know, one of the most special things that anyone could ever do for us, and I
oh,
appreciate it. I'm going to get shallow for a minute, y'all. I want
go.
Kelly to make millions of dollars. I want
Oh,
her to be so wealthy that she has to donate half of her income to her
yes,
foundation
yes.
in order to effectively keep her money.
It's
And
all going to
so
be recycled.
so let's talk about where your market is, and let's talk about like who's coming up there to move in, and
Yeah.
let's get some folks. Let's
Okay.
make some money.
Here's what we got. Yeah. So people that, I mean, my market is, I handle the Finger Lakes also. So up here we have Skaneateles Lake, Owasco, Otisco, Seneca Lake, lots of wineries. So I have had the last 2 years, people come up from New York City and New Jersey that are looking for second homes, or moving up here because they're working virtually now and they can have this 12 acres with a private pond.
Let's
But
go.
yeah, and so it's been a whole lot of fun because I resonate with these guys. I've got a campaign that I'm working on that's targeting NYC, from NYC to CNY, kind of a thing. But I am here to help first-time home buyers, sellers, really more specifically in this area. Getting your home to market is my jam because of the marketing experience. I love bringing a home to market. I love writing. I do all of the things, right? The creative stuff. And so, yeah, I would service. So Syracuse is where I live, but I can go an hour, 2 hours. Central New York is pretty large, and we do have Micron coming, which is a huge thing for us over here. It's going to get busy. We're gonna dial it up a little bit. So I'm
You
catching
just
up.
you just had two pretty big listings like right on the lake just recently, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. As I had it was a multi-million-dollar lake home on Skaneateles Lake. That was such a
That's
joy to sell because the sellers were so wonderful, and they were also on a journey. So it was a lovely. It was a perfect pairing, and it was also an EXP referral, by the way.
let's go.
Whoo! Did my life just change? It sure
Let's
did.
go. I want you to know that you have an ally in me. I want you to know that you have a fan in me, and I want you to know that as a coach, it would be my honor and pleasure to help you along this journey. If there's anything that I can do to help you, I
Appreciate this.
certainly will.
Thank
Um,
you so much. I really appreciate that, and vice versa.
Come
Vice
on, sis.
versa for
25
anything.
Franklin Street. That's all. Listen,
25. I have that now. It's down,
you've
but if you
written
need
down.
any like copywriting, if you need marketing help, what is it that you need? Because I'm
um,
here.
you know what? I'm going to take you up on that. I think I want to take all of what we do to the next level, right? And
Yeah.
so we've been a very word of mouth organization as far as our coaching is concerned.
Yeah.
We are very selective. We take only a few clients a year, and I've been told, Mimi Bird, I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening. That I'm not thinking off. So I will
Please do.
take
I'm
you up on that.
here. I'll
And
be waiting.
and then maybe, I don't know, maybe all of that information you have, we can get you on as the marketing coach over here.
Hey.
Let's talk. We'll talk.
Hey,
We'll talk.
let's talk. See, it's a collaboration. This is what happens. There's no silly questions. It just turns into things.
Well, we're growing. So listen, they're
I
letting me
love
know
it.
that the hospital is kicking me off of the
Oh,
internet, and
okay.
so we'll probably get interrupted. I absolutely love you so much, and it
Oh,
is a pleasure
I
and an
love you
honor.
too.
This is great. This is a new friendship, a new sisterhood and brotherhood. This is new,
This is new,
but I
but
tell
it's
you
for
what,
life. I feel
it's
it.
for life, and it ain't light. Okay, I tell people all the time that I'm not easy to get along with because I'm unreasonable with my expectations when it comes down to the people that are in my circle.
Yeah.
Yours was a wide open door, sis.
Oh
I was
gosh.
like, let's
And
get
it
in,
was
let's
so
get on.
funny. And we didn't even we had a one-on-one schedule. We didn't even do what we're supposed to do on that call, but it was completely meant to be.
And so look, I
We were
owe
like,
you a
we're
one-on-one.
gonna wing it.
Yeah, I owe you a one-on-one.
Oh, that's
And
okay.
if there's anybody that that comes through Kelly, I'm gonna just say this now. So when she's sharing this, if you mention Kelly Hall's name in our interview where we're gonna take you on as a client or something like that, it will be very beneficial to you. Let me just tell you that right now. It'll be very beneficial to you. If you donate, to the Hugs of Hope Foundation and you show me that you donated to the Hugs of Hope Foundation, I will discount your monthly package by that amount. Any amount, I'll match it in kind services. And if you know anyone that needs a hug, please, please, please go to the hugsforhopefoundation.org and click that send a hug, or request a hug. Maybe you need a hug, right? And let's go ahead and spread these hugs around the world, and let's get that going. Is that good, Kelly? Did I do a good job marketing?
You got me teared up. Did you do a good job? Where do I hit the send button? Where do I go to sign up?
All right, guys. So
Thank you.
I'm bedside with Mom, and she's falling off to sleep, and so I know I can be loud.
Yeah, but you gotta tend to her too.
So I'm gonna tend to her. Kelly, it was an absolute pleasure. Will you just hang around for 2 seconds while I hit this button so that I can take us out?
Yeah.
Love you guys. I'll see you around.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.